Recently, I was in Taiwan, where I was invited by the government to participate in their big international conference on Taiwan's international engagement, called the Yushan Forum. I was asked to talk at the forum about some of the challenges that Taiwan faces in playing an international role commensurate with its wealth, its population, and its abilities. While the specific focus of my talk was supposed to be healthcare, I used the occasion to talk more about China's mounting efforts to frustrate Taiwan's international ambitions, and, even more importantly, why we in the West should regard Taiwan as the canary in the coal mine in our own relations with and understanding of China's increasingly worrisome and aggressive behavior. Of course, it should surprise no one that Taiwan, with its 24 million people, its world-leading healthcare system, and I believe the 20th largest economy in the world, should want to share its success with others who could benefit. Taiwan's tremendous contributions to international public health efforts, for example, are ample testament to Taiwan's ability to marshal both money and impressive technical expertise on a large scale in the pursuit of a better world. I thought Taiwanese President Tsai, a fellow graduate of my alma mater, the London School of Economics, said it best in her 2018 National Day address in Taipei when she said, and I quote, "The best way to defend Taiwan is to make it indispensable and irreplaceable in the world." In field after field, including healthcare, Taiwan is doing just that. But while the world needs more Taiwan, the People's Republic of China, just across the straits, is determined that the world shall have less Taiwan. Not only is this an unacceptable diminishing of the well-being of those Taiwan seeks to help, and of Taiwan's right to self-determination, but it's also an egregious attack on the integrity of numerous international organizations, including the World Health Organization and its chief deliberative body, the World Health Assembly. Despite its commitment to protecting and promoting the health of all of humanity without reference to politics, under Chinese pressure, the World Health Assembly blocked Taiwan's participation in 2017 and 2018 after it had enjoyed observer status in that body for 7 or 8 years. This retrograde step deprives the Taiwanese of information and expertise vital to the health and well-being of its citizens, in violation of the WHA's universal mandate, and, given the ease and speed with which infectious diseases can now travel, endangering people much farther afield as well. Similarly, the World Health Assembly and the World Health Organization prevent the rest of the world from using those organizations to learn from Taiwan's extensive and impressive expertise in many areas, including healthcare technology. Nor is this China's only offense against the international order painstakingly built up over the last 7 decades or so, an order that underpins all of our hopes for a free, open, and secure Indo-Pacific region. These breaches are too numerous to list exhaustively, but certainly include unfair trading practices, theft of intellectual property, including through industrial espionage, united front work aiming to mobilize and politicize Chinese diaspora populations in many countries, pressing them to become fifth columnists in support of Beijing's policies, direct intervention in other countries' elections and politics, unilateral and illegal militarization of the South China Sea, egregious and widespread human rights violations, including, but not limited to, those of many minority groups in China. I'm sorry to report that the international community has been slow to become alive to the dangers that China's bad behavior represents. But that complacency is starting to yield rather quickly to the glaring and painful facts we have allowed to accumulate on the ground. Moreover, people are increasingly coming to understand that Taiwan acts very much as the world's canary in the coal mine, as I mentioned at the outset, with respect to the dangers posed by China's behavior. The West is therefore increasingly looking for ways to come to the aid of Taiwan, not only for its own sake, but also as a means of signaling to China that the era when Beijing could call a tune in many fields is drawing rapidly to a close. The trick, of course, is to up the pressure on China measurably, but proportionately, without tipping over into overt conflict that no one wants. China's bad behavior will not change until it comes to realize that other countries will exact an unacceptable price and are resolute in their determination to call Beijing to account. Healthcare, to pick just one example, offers several notable examples of such incremental signaling to Beijing, using Taiwan as the trigger for action. Canada, for example, has strongly backed Taiwan's efforts to be readmitted as an observer to the World Health Assembly. I'm also pleased to report that Canada is part of an international coalition that includes the US, the EU, New Zealand, and therefore the vast bulk of Western governments supporting Taiwan's bid to return. This international pushback against Chinese obstructionism needs to be continued and intensified under Western leadership. But to make that pressure effective, Beijing must be shown that their ability to suborn the votes of developing and other nations will not be enough to frustrate the determination of Taiwan and the West to see this country succeed. Besides actively promoting Taiwan's participation in international forums like the WHO, Western countries should be working to ensure that Taiwan is given every opportunity to make the positive contribution to world affairs that is one of its highest ambitions. The United States continues to show the way in this regard, and other Western governments, including Canada, should follow the path that Washington has blazed. Take just one example, the US-Taiwan Global Cooperation and Training Framework, or GCTF, which illustrates what can and should be done by Western governments keen to support Taiwan's legitimate ambitions. The GCTF connects experts from Taiwan and abroad and provides opportunities for them to share best practices amongst each other, especially on issues such as public health, where collaboration is critical. The GCTF has brought together hundreds of experts, government officials, and civil society leaders from over 24 countries for workshops on public health, women's empowerment, and the digital economy, amongst other topics. This is a great model for others to follow. In conclusion, let me recall something quite intriguing and inspiring that the Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation's chairman said in his opening remarks to the Yushan Forum. Taiwan, he said, is not a question, but an answer. I agree, but he did not tell us to what question Taiwan is the answer. Here's what I think that question is. Is there proof that the Chinese people are not condemned by history, ethnicity, genetics, or any other factor to live without freedom, security and safety of the person, democracy, and the rule of law? Taiwan answers, we are the proof that this is no mere dream. The society where Chinese people enjoy these values and institutions is a reality, here and now, in this island of 24 million people off the coast of China. Because Taiwan is the answer to this question, if it did not exist, we would have to invent it. Fortunately, it does exist, and every one of us has an immense responsibility to ensure that it continues not only to exist, but to thrive in healthcare, in international collaboration, and in every other field. I'm Brian Lee Crowley for the Macdonald-Laurier Institute.